Hello, I'm Steamboat Mason and welcome back to Book Rants. Now, Book Rants, Book Vants, Wants. Now, I haven't done a book rant for a very long time actually, and this one's quite changing. It's so fucking hot, like that light and that radiator left on for so long. But no, it's going to be nice to have a trip down memory road. Come on, Stephen, write your fucking words down. Come on, what do we need to learn today? What is Oscar the Grouch going to pop out the car? I can't even get a hold of a fucking pen. Like, van, one word, right? Yeah, van, yeah. Get the fuck off my van. Book, B-O-O-K. Fuck off. So yeah, book rants. Now, as I have not sprayed my chair with WD-40, I like going down book rants and looking for books, and there's a few books there. I ramble on for ages. It's unplugged. There's been one edit right at the start there. Mental note to self, there will be no more edits. And again, it's me just chopping and slicing, but what we're talking about this. It just came today. Now, from my childhood I had some pretty cool stuff, but I also had a dog called Roxy. Now, there's a picture of Roxy there. It's always been there. That's Roxy. I had Roxy, then Jake, in New Zealand. All gone, unfortunately, but yeah, that's me and Roxy. And I remember, I'm a massive fan of wrestling. Absolute huge fan. Always have been, always will be. It was the cleanest t-shirt. I've had Mamma Mia on all one. And I remember, back in the late 80s, early 90s, it's like video footage and all that of wrestling and getting tapes and who's who, and I remember getting this book, and then every now and again I would revisit, well, fucking hell, it's him! You know what I mean? Because this book came out and like I've never been able to find it. Now this is something that did not survive since I lived in Castleside with my mum in the early 90s. Now I do remember the front cover long gone. So one, I didn't know what the fucking cover looked like. And the name was very vague because it'll just be black on the spine, I'll imagine. And like I remember Roxy jumping across, like skidding in the back door and just ripping a page wide open. And I've generally been searching for this for absolutely ages. Then 2 appeared 3 days ago, which is quite scary. Now I spent most of the day today filming a video for Double Switch, and I've been waiting weeks for Double Switch to come. So it just shows you. I mean, I was straight out today posting my eBay stuff, and this just came very quickly. Now I sniped somebody on this. Hey, it's happened to me. And I don't often re-snipe somebody, but it was $10.99 then postage, and this was $2.60 and 99 pence in one bid in the last 10 seconds. Well, I'm willing to pay up to a tenner. I paid £2.10 for this, so sniped in return to us in my childhood. So what we're talking about, hopefully it is the book, so let's get this open and get this rolling. Now this one will probably be a bit epic because this is going to have so much nostalgia for me personally. Nice little outtake as well for you. So we kick around right at the very end, you're going to have quite a funny outtake that I really need to work out what it is. So the cover is what I remembered. Pretty bad there at the back, the bushwhackers on the back there. This is the Championship Wrestling, Masters of Mayhem. And like, again, wrestling, WCW's exposure over here, not very good. I remember going past the gas station and see Rick Rude, and there I was like, that's Rick Rude. Sting. You know what I mean? Again, when Sting turned up in WWE, I was like, ah! And then I was like, oh, and then I watched WrestleMania back and I'm like, well, you can see where they were going. And then it was just a bit of a shame. Undertaker versus Sting. Yeah, no words. I mean, look at Undertaker versus Goldberg. I love the Undertaker, but fuck. Just let things happen. But again, going back to this book, as I say, this is quite old. It's a big book now. I remember the cover being gone. So all I really remember is that, and it just got lost. Now for this video, because the outer cover is pretty battered, I'm just going to put that at the side. And that's what I remember. So easy misplaced, you know what I mean? So, wow, it's going to be, it looks in really good condition, this actually. Now I'm going to try and have it angled there so you can see what I'm seeing. But it's a pretty big book to hold, like Christ. So inside, yep, oh wow, nostalgia. First up, Scott Steiner doing the Frankensteiner on a Nasty Boy. That's quite, that means, so that's going to be around about 93 in the WWE. Quite a great move. I mean, that Steiner screwdriver, fucking hell, man. When he pops them hips and he's got the American flag and they just, it's grim. So yeah, totally remember that. Really know that. It's Ric Flair and Lex Luger, figure 4 leg lock. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Hawk, unfortunately long gone and passed. Paint on his face paint. And it's like, oh yeah, totally like, yeah, look. I mean, Hulk Hogan getting on the aeroplane, just the introduction. Hulk Hogan as well, massive icon in the 90s, but then obviously had a long career. Classy Fairy Rossi there as well. Look at that man, just take the time. I mean, imagine the irritation after shaving your chest like that. But what an icon. The very first wrestling I ever seen was WrestleMania 6. But I was aware of Hulk Hogan and who the Ultimate Warrior were through like toys and stuff, but the distribution in the UK, you just didn't get it, you know what I mean, Sky. And I remember watching WrestleMania 6, it was Hogan versus the Warrior at the front, and some great iconic bits on that matches. I always remember the Barbarian fucking coming off that top rope and fucking clothesline Tito Santana. I went, oh, like what a sell and what impact. Next page. So yeah, as I say, you get this, and obviously as I look back at this now, I can now say, yeah, that's Hogan in Japan. Wrestling was huge in Japan. Hulk Hogan getting a bear hug off the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6. The crowd response to the music and everything. The Ultimate Warrior, this is obviously going to go through the, as I say, what a picture that is. Sunglasses on as well. You know what I mean? He's got sunglasses on there and he barely looking and see his fucking hand on that one. But Ultimate Warrior as a kid, you know, Chambers is a massive Ultimate Warrior fan, and like I got this t-shirt because it was a really nice t-shirt. I thought it was more tie-dye, but again, it's when you watch wrestling live now and they always have an offer on, you're like, ah! Because normally now, like, there's only like 2 pay-per-views I'll watch a year, the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. And like when they have their offers on, I'm like, ah, get on there. That's all. That's how I end up always with a couple of new t-shirts, me edition. So yeah, and the Ultimate Warrior, I mean, the documentary Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior is like a fucking hell. What a documentary. But then you see the Flip documentary, and the way he died and like the way he came back, and like you look at it and go, it was that meant to be? Yeah, just like fucking, it's unbelievable. And like, it's what I love about the WWE now, the storytelling, the archive. It's very inspiring for me, someone who's been filming the life for ages. I mean, like, I was going to say an example in the background, there's fucking tapes underneath there, but whatever. After that, we've got Ric Flair, the real world champion as he was, coming in. Top smashers and the figure 4 leg lock. Woo! I enjoyed Flair. His last match was great, but then if you're going to retire, retire. You know what I mean? But again, it'll hard. I mean, he's like a crack addict. He's just going to keep on going until one day it was just too much. What an inspiration, Charlotte Flair, amazing. So we get Lex Luger, and I mean, he was always bigger in WCW, Lex, and WWE really pushed him. There was a weird transition in the 90s, like, because if you look at the phone vibrator in the 1993 Royal Rumble, you had like the Steiner brothers in there, you had Ric Flair, but he was going back off there, and like there was loads of like weird transitions of wrestlers coming in between companies and stuff like that, you know. It's weird. 93 was a weird year. Lex Luger actually debuted. That's probably where I was going. My mind was going, well, Lex Luger debuts. Well done, Stephen. Comes out going, check me muscles out. You know, but yeah, let's see if you're there. Macho Man Randy Savage, didn't know for years that the fucking Genius was his brother. I was like, what the fuck are you kidding me? And I also found it quite controversial when I watched the documentary, and you just hear the car revving and you hear a crash, and you think, oh, right, the guy died, bless him, of a heart attack and went into a tree. I think a bit grim to start a DVD. Always had some flair, elbow drop, amazing, you know what I mean? Proper mental promos, fucking, oh yeah, fucking down there. I mean, his elbow drops were never perfected on a video game. Like, you'd always try to get them right and come off, and it just, you know, it would suddenly change arm in the mid-lane. Like, what the fuck happened there, man? Like, you know what I mean? Other people who perfect that elbow, yes, Shawn Michaels, and Shane McMahon will always be a bit more laid back with Test. When Test does the fucking elbow drop to RVD in the Elimination Chamber, probably the only reason to watch that pay-per-view, December to remember, that elbow drop. Grim. But yeah, he's choking Tito Santana on the bottom. Why did Tito Santana never change his pants for till he became a fucking matador? It's like, I never knew who Strike First was with Rick Martel. But Rick Martel was quick to go, give me some turquoise pants, come out, do the Boston Crab. Then he went proper luminous pink after that. But then Tito Santana was still wearing his little white pants with a little Mexican hat on. I do, again, this is why I was really interested about doing this video. I'm literally going around. But Savage versus Hogan. Hogan wearing... See, the thing is here, Hogan's wearing white and blue pants, which Hogan was always... Again, where does where are these photos from? Because, like, again, you don't really get a defined line between... This is like something to do right now, you know what I mean? But this is then. This is before. This is WWF and WCW. Just flicking around. So next we've got Sting. Obviously we don't know dark face Sting, but Junkyard Dogs in the background up there. He's getting sprayed with champagne. He definitely looked the part. Reverse DDT as a finisher, like the sharpshooter and the Scorpion Deathlock. I was so annoyed at the WWF. This is why I can get a lot of my hand for the show actually. The WWE top 50 wrestling finishes, and it's like, all right. And like the sharpshooter was in twice. The sharpshooter and Scorpion Deathlock are the same thing. Oh, you crush your legs differently, or you hold. No, like one goes that way, and then you like no. It's like having the $1 Million Dream on there. What was the $1 Million Dream? The Cobra Clutch. That's cheating. So it's what? It's a top 46. I'll probably go on and on about that, but yeah. Sting. Next up, Lex Luger. He did look the package like. That's an Iron Surfer. Lifting Flair off the top rope there. But again, torture rack, elbow. Big, fuck me, I mean, this is totally, I'm totally loving this. Besides that fucking picture, man. I'm over the moon to get this, man. Over the moon. Next up, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Probably the best arm drag in the business, isn't it, really? Lex Luger's there again. Ric Flair doing his trademark off the top. Throw. Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat was like, yeah, you had the WrestleMania 3 match around Randy Savage. And then he had that, like, when I really got into it as a kid, like the toy, and like again you can say, oh yeah, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and you're like, I can't remember one fucking match with him when he came back to the WWE around the early 90s. It's like, came out, blowing fire, action figure, pushed him down at the back, jumped. Yeah, poof, gone. Sleeper hold on there, again, really nice pictures. Next up, Ted DiBiase, $1 Million Dream, the guy who bought the championship. Great wrestler. I think, just with that in the background. Great wrestler, great character, the whole money thing. It's a shame his son went off to, his son had enough of it and stuff like that. He's been around for ages, retired quite early, I think. Ted DiBiase. Next up, still DiBiase, but we've got Jake the Snake Roberts in there and Andre the Giant. You can just see how big that guy fucking is. He's fucking huge. This guy in the background as well, trying to sell popcorn. WWF in the background. Again, characters. Jake the Snake, $1 Million Man. Perfect names, Mr. Perfect and stuff. Well, funny enough, the next one is Mr. Fucking Perfect. Maybe it's my childhood memories. Because I always found this funny because, like, again, you're looking back and he goes, he's Mr. Perfect there. And, like, what a, almost like an amateur wrestling one there. Mr. Perfect, great finishing move. Looks like he's got a massive cock. I'm sorry. I watched something recently, and like I just had my glasses on. Just got new glasses, and he was in this cosmic blue. He was fighting Ric Flair. It was just on the background. I was like, "The fuck's up with his pants?" I was like, "It's just high definition." I was just like, I couldn't help it. It was like the camera guy's like looking for the second rope, and he was like, "Be fair to Flair." Bobby Heenan in Gorilla Monsoon, just fucking perfect on the comedy. I just couldn't help but look at his junk. I was like, "Fucking hell, will you change the camera angle?" But yeah, massive loss. His son as well. I mean, the son, just so many mismatched purposes. I mean, that guy, the different neck breakers and all that kinds of stuff he had going from different name, Gil McCuddy, whatever you want to call him. It just seems a bit of a farce with that. Next up, Barry Windham. Never really a bigger fan, but the blackjack thing has loads of fucking different names, doesn't he? He's popped up in loads of stuff. Is he like the Strangler or something? Next up, Sid Vicious, Sid Justice. Sid, Psycho Sid, big guy. Mental promos. Again, he was just the man coming into it. He'd been in WCW and they brought him across the WrestleMania 8 thing. I mean, on that picture there, he's wearing a full-on singlet, red as well. So again, he's not like, WCW were master of the powerbomb. Like powerbombs as well. He was doing it, like as a kid, he was doing the powerbomb quite aggressive. I remember the Mega Drive, the Mega Drive Game Boy game. It's like his music was always really good, and he had a mental career because you know what I mean. He would go from that back to WCW, come back to WWE, have a bigger run, and you know he's just a menace. In fact, he looked like he would fucking kill you. Do you know what I mean? He was just a great bad guy. I think when I look at him, this brings back so many memories. Like okay, so Larry Zbyszko and others. Obviously, I don't know who Larry Zbyszko is from WCW Range Game. I just pointed because I actually plugged in at that telly. Jake the Snake Roberts there, and the Big Boss Man. Big Boss Man was a big man. He really was a big man, and he went over the. He tried to go to WCW like most people did. He had the music, and you know he went across there as Big Bubba or something, and then he had that sidewalk slam finish. But he was a fucking big guy, mind. And even like he was up for putting over talent in the early 90s. He put Bam Bam Bigelow over really clean. And Bam Bam's got like a weird career as well because like he was like in the really early in the 80s, like around WrestleMania 1 and stuff. Then just came back. He was incredible talent as well. But then when the Big Boss Man came back, the Attitude Era, the whole like SWAT suit and all that, like great, like great bad guy, slimmed right down. Fortunately, he's passed on as well. Next up, the growth of wrestling. So we got Hulk Hogan looking all cheesy under the dry and going, fuck this shit. Roddy Piper, probably one of the greatest things. One of the greatest mouths and mental. Absolutely brilliant. Great transition into acting. I mean, 3 guys in the page there. They've all transitioned into acting. Next page, Macho Man Randy Savage. He has as well. Captain Lou there. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. Honky Tonk Man. Ric Flair, proper looking at the camera. Yeah, totally like flashbacks. Again, it's quite a dominant picture book. I mean, just outside stories there. Next up in the gym is chapter 3. So we've got the Road Warriors on Unmasked, and then we've got Kerry Von Erich up there, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Tornado. That's the one. He was quite hip at the time. The Spin and Punch, the Von Claw, you know, and Hulk Hogan at the bottom, proper beefed him up. Alright, so you've got Teddy Long, man. Jesus Christ. Teddy Long and Flying Brian there as well. Hey, Teddy Long was, you know, he was wanting to be there and just being more of the piece. That's Kevin Sullivan and his wife, isn't it? It's just on the page. Next up, tag teams. Road Warriors, also known as Legion of Doom, again when you're a kid. Like, Demolition to me first were like pretty cool, but then, Demolition were... I like the Demolition angle. I like the tag teams, the Hard Foundation. They had really good tag teams. And Legion of Doom came in, but then just the whole fucking spikes on the head. Fortunately, now both of them passed away. Hawk with an arm toss there, one of the Samoans. Bushwhackers as well, all the way from New Zealand. They were quite flimsy though, Bushwhackers, weren't they? Next up, we've got right. So here we go. We've got. Who the fuck is them? So they're going to be familiar faces, like. So it's the Midnight Express by the looks. Stanley, James Cornette and Bobby Easton. Obviously don't understand bloody. But again, Dusty Rhodes being bloodied up the fuck on the side there. Here comes some blood. Right, so here we go. This always freaked me out as a kid. So here we go. So we've got Sid Vicious, Teddy Long, and then this guy here totally looks like Brian Knobbs. Deadly combination of Sid Vicious and Danny Spiffle, otherwise known as the Skyscrapers. But again, it's kind of like, oh, spot somebody there. There's a couple of them, I wouldn't be able to spot them if they'd been in anything else there, but next up, the Nasty Boys. And Terry, the Knobs and Sags. Friends of Hogan's, aren't they? Quite ruffians, like, aren't they? Next up, Steiner Brothers and the Hart Foundation. So yeah, again, Legion of Doom always had that fucking clothesline, and I tell you what, like you just didn't want to be on top of their shoulders. Especially like they could be easy imitated in school, you know. And it's like you land wrong on your fucking head. But then the Steiner Brothers obviously took that and then made it into a bulldog, and it's like that's even worse. Like, it's one thing like you're gonna go backwards and you tuck your chin in and you go over, but like Scott Steiner's between your dick and your leg, you know what I mean? Scott Steiner's your dick in that shot, and you've got to get over him, and then you're gonna have Rick Steiner landing on your fucking head. It's quite a dangerous move, actually. Hart Foundation, Heart Attack finisher, Bret Hart, Jim the NIL, Tito Santana. Can't tell if he's got his yellow pants on. Rock and Roll Express. I never, like, again, they've popped up in one video game on WWE. Again, the Rockers. It's kind of, you know what I mean, the attire and all the blings and all that. I don't know who that is on the floor getting good old size. Just keep grow. Oh, this is just. I feel like I've never lost this book. I haven't seen this for like 20 fucking years. Next up, High Flyers, Jimmy Fly Sneaker on there. About to land on Captain Lou by the looks of it. And above, Mil Mascara, flying masks as well. I remember Kieran Jacksborough always used to call him Jimmy Fly Pool. As you know, he's called Jimmy Fly Snooker. But he was convinced it was pool. After that, you want to talk about there, like Rich Steiner there. Not only is he roughing some fucking massive mullet going on there. I mean, you want to talk about when he looks like he's fucking got a cup on. Michigan, dodging from Ric Flair, flying Brian Pillman, and strongman Doug Furnace. He had a like, I always remember Doug Furnace. I remember seeing a couple of pay-per-views for them, and then they went down to ECW, and the fucking crowd were like, "Don't go back, don't go!" Like, it's one of his finishing moves, like reverse suplex off the top turnbuckle. It's like, oh, I'm gonna be taking that. Next up. That looks like Doc down there, another elbow drop. Superstar manager James Cornette with Bobby Lands, an opponent with a high flying elbow, just like MC squared. Fucking Michael P.S. Hayes is about to become a victim of a flying elbow from beautiful Bobby. There we go. I see, yeah, talking about this. There's that fucking Steiner Bulldog again. They just want me to talk about that. Sting doing there. I think he's fighting the Great Muta as well. The Great Muta to me always looked classed as a kid. Right, so anyway, right, we're going to get into here. So I always remember this, because here you got it here, 502 to the right, the Great Muta, no, see ya. Norman. It's just called Norman, comes crashing down. That's one of the weirdest for kid. He's got one foot smaller than the other, but it's obviously blatantly obvious because he wears two different shoes. But anyway, big guys, you've got to squish him. But the Great Muta, just like a missile drop kick and like an Asai moonsault and stuff like that. It's pretty fucking cool. Same match like the women, okay? I mean, you know, what women were at that time, they're very patriotic looking. That is Lee Morgan and Missy Blue. Yeah, the women of wrestling. Yeah, I remember that. Double. I wasn't really looking at there, you know, as a kid I can remember nipple on. There you go. And under Braze there, Christ, nearly all of them I don't even recognise them. Susan Saxton, Magnificent Miami, or whatever. Ashley Kennedy, Terry Power. Women's wrestling just wasn't what it is now. It's some of the matches now are fucking tremendous, aren't they? Boston Gold Crab. So here we go, the wild, weird, wacky and wonderful. Wow! I fucking shit you not, right? My friend and my manager, Karen, right? So I got the name from the weird, wacky and wonderful. Karen was just like, your videos are weird, they're a bit wacky, but they are wonderful. And it was quite a compliment or going, it's not her thing, but it's the talent behind doing it, especially when we do the shop stuff now. That's cool. That's the wild, wacky, the wild, weird, wacky and wonderful. So, weird, wacky and wonderful. I can't believe that. Chapter 7 as well. It's been stored all that time. It's like a spark in my brain. So, yeah. Massive giant. Obviously, look at the size of that guy. And when he came over painted suited there, Royal Rumble 93. You know, fucking huge guy, man. Honky Tonk Man, Jimmy Hart. Big Van Vader, man. What a waste, but again, you know what I mean? And Big Van Vader's not the next page actually now. I don't know what point it got ripped. I'm sure it got ripped on one of them double pages. Jerry Lynn Kohler, Ron Simmons, Cactus Jack, man, look at that, man. Mick Foley. And then there's that guy again, Norman. He's about to have enough with Sting. Teddy Bear. There you go, Van Vader. What a fucking entrance, man. I love Vader. I used to love Vader on the games. You come down like that different music, or it's Vader time, and I always go back to Giant Cram 2000, played it for the Dreamcast, got it, and the guy was like, it's all in Japanese. I was just like, right, it's a wrestling game though, you know what I mean? At the time, we were longing for someone to replace the N64, because them games have never been beaten in my eyes, and I just DDT Japanese commentary, like menu screens all in Japanese and hard to follow. But Vader and Bart Young and a few other famous people are on there, and Vader was just a fucking menace. You know, like Vader's voice, smashing in the corner, had his moonsaults and all kinds of stuff, and like obviously willing, like he's never been on a game until he came back into the WWE's. But it's great that they've honoured Vader a bit. Unfortunately, he's passed away. Fucking great Muta. Look at that, man. Fucking red mist, green mist. Sorry. It's fucking cool, man. Alright, so here we go. So if you look in here, we've got Animal there, Pause and Sting, and then we've got here, it's not The Undertaker. You can now just see how determined The Undertaker is by looking in his eyes. That's Mean Mark, that. It's not The Undertaker at all. But again, seeing that, as a kid, used to see The Undertaker, oh, this fucking light's quite hot. Now, who the fuck is that? Because I totally remember that. Look at that guy. The Juicer swears that he's a friendly ghost. The fuck the Juicer was. Is it Mark Merrill, maybe? We've got Hacksaw Jim Duggan down there. Oh, outtake. Paul Orndorff there, Junkyard Dog and Sig Vicious. Right, guys, fucking weird. Next up, the Wallace and Owens. So if you look there, that'll be Rikishi, innit? Yeah, we'll be right. Hot Rod and fucking Sags fucking absolutely busted up. Second generations of the Samoas. Sir Oliver Humbledick, who is now known as Big Daddy Dink. Alright, what's going on there? But yeah, that'll be Rikishi there. Alright, this was Samoans. Or head shrinkers. Is he a head shrinker, Samoans? Next up, it's Typhoon, Tugboat. And then Bam Bam Bigelow getting choked out by Nikolai Voskov. There we go. Bam Bam hits it in there. But again, being that much winning, Bam Bam Bigelow not wearing like a V set. Tugboat though. I think it was Jerry Calder used to take. I mean, obviously he's the Shockmaster. You know what I mean. Next up, finishing manoeuvres. That's it. So Roddy Piper, sleeper hold, Ric Flair at knee drop as a finisher. Should be a more devastating finisher than it is. The best knee drop ever. I think it's SummerSlam. It's the one with the yellow and red and white CM Punk's on there fighting Jeff Hardy, and it's Randy Orton versus John Cena. And Randy Orton just eyes him up in the corner, and it's almost like he just leaps off the ground in the corner and hovers through the air to deliver a a knee drop. It's fucking class. After that, Rock and Roll Express are about to get Spike Pile Driver, the Iron Sheik and Sergeant Slaughter. Again, we really finished this book. We got Sting and Ric Flair, the Scorpion Deathlock. Don't get me started on that with a sharpshooter. After that, we've got a Gorilla Press. I mean, is that really a finishing move? That's Mean Mark. That's the Undertaker up there, the Torture Rack. And then we've got an elbow drop. That looks like Stan Larry. Stan Hansen, he's actually on that wrestling game as well in Japan. Fucking massive lariats everywhere you go. It's pretty cool. This. Okay, Lex Luger and fucking Ric Flair and a figure four leg lock again. Right, fucking rear neck breaker. Looks like Ron Simmons taking that. Vicious fucking move that. Oh, then we're away from the ring. Greg the Hammer Valentine there. We got Doc Hendricks there. Fabulous Freebirds singing it up. Oh yeah, totally remember this. At home. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Bushwhacker look. I mean, again, it's just pictures really, and really nice quality pictures though. Paul Orndorff, Paul Heyman there as well. Look at that, you know, little hidden one there. Tony Atlas, and the very end, ravishing Rick Rude. But what a flashback to Nostalgia City that was, man. That's fucking awesome. So yeah, totally missed that. I think with lockdown and stuff like that, nostalgia, and like I've been trying not to buy stuff, and unfortunately today I've bought it. I think in the last 48 hours I've bought about 6 vinyls. Look at me, man. Well, again, when you sell like VHSs, I mean, I sell me VHSs, I think, alright, that'll be handy for shopping, and then you realise you sell a VHS, which, like, you've had it on your shelf, you don't even know you got it, you spend 20 quid. No, sorry, you get 20 quid for it, you're like, fucking hell. That was just holding up the fucking shelf. It's like there's a couple of VHSs there. What's that? But yeah, that was Championship Wrestling. Me and Nostalgia, my wrestling history. And I'll see you in the outtakes. So here in the outtakes, as I put that down, I've got coming up a video called Alternative 4, and me and Jack are going to count down the top 20 movies of the 2010s. And we're just waiting to film it, you know. And we're getting the lists in, everyone's got the list submitted, so it's basically me and Jack puts our hands in our buckets, like gets it out, and we'll just be reading it out. So what I've been doing is I've been tracking down a lot of people who do countdowns. Now hopefully this video won't come out until it's at least part of it filmed, because of Chambers. Now Mark Chambers is one of my good friends from my childhood, and we drifted apart, and you know, in the last couple of years we've rebuilt that bridge and connections, and he actually lives not far from us once again. Okay, yeah. And I said to Mark, I says, look, like, we're going to get all these people to count down. I'll give you number one. Like, literally, you can have number one. Now, Mark sends us these random videos, and sometimes I don't know what the fuck to do with them. There might be an intercut now of him trying to open a turtle. So yeah, that was very brief because I'm not sure what. Again, I just got sent this video footage. I was like, oh, I'll do something about that. But yeah, Mark is meant to send us what's number one. And I got a clip the other night. And he started talking about a fucking camel.
Traditional desert camel breakfast. To make a camel breakfast, first gut the camel out. Prep for this is crucial, as next you'll need a cow. One autumn lamb from a field of grey, black or white, it's okay. 2 large chickens, don't mistake them with a pheasant. Oh fuck, I've just remembered, I'm in the fucking desert.
So, if Mark eventually gives me the top number one, and gives me something I can use, camels and tour, Mark will get this. It's just a friend, as a friendship thing. And it is the 7-inch single of Superstars. It's WrestleMania. For some reason, it starts off with Survivor Series voice clip. I don't know why. And it's also got Slam Jam. But yeah, what's really cool about this though as well, it's nicely packaged. Vinyl comes flying out. There's the vinyl. Nothing coloured about it. Now, it's got a poster. Now I was, as you can see in the background, I'm about to frame beyond what's finally going to get fucking framed. The frame's sitting there because I thought this was going to go in a frame, and I was actually going to frame it for him, right? You know, so I thought it was pretty cool and put this vinyl. But then I didn't realise the poster didn't come with it. Like, didn't think the poster was separate because it is actually signed by Hacksaw Jim Duggan on the front. So, if you see a video called Alternative 4, which should be out before this, because I don't want James to see this and spoil the surprise, and I'll probably work out how long it takes him to realise Hacksaw Jim Duggan has signed that. So that was a nice trip down memory lane with book rants. I don't do them often these days, as I say. That's great nostalgia for me personally. I've been Steve Monkey Mason. Thanks for watching this. Goodbye for now.